Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
Government provides clarity on public officers eligible for salary increase. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for today, Wednesday, January 16th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. Government is providing clarity on the categories of public officers who are eligible to receive the 4% salary increase, which goes into effect this month. The salary increase applies to established officers holding letters of appointment issued by the Public Service Commission, unestablished workers holding open-ended letters of appointment issued by the respective permanent secretaries, as well as daily paid workers. Persons holding fixed-term contracts are not eligible for the salary increase. It was announced this week that the 4% salary increase is the third and final portion of a 10% increase agreed to with trade unions representing the workers. Increases of 3% have already been paid to public officers for each of the two preceding years, 2017 and 2018. Government will spend more than $6 million on the salary increases alone. Those who continue to assist escaped prisoner Hayden Phillip to evade law enforcement, be warned, the Royal Grenada Police Force will be coming after you. That warning from Inspector Desmond Richard, officer in charge of the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. During a press conference on Wednesday, Inspector Richard said the force is investigating the reports that Phillip is being assisted by certain individuals who will face the full force of the law on completion of their investigations.
Let it be known that Hayden will be recaptured, and we're also going after those who we believe is assisting in his continued escape. The Royal Grenada Police Force is letting those persons know that they will be caught too, and they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So we want to advise persons out there, Hayden is a dangerous prisoner, and he must be approached with caution if it cannot be avoided.
Inspector Richard says they are pooling resources from every department of the force to ensure that all is done to recapture the prisoner and to ensure the safety of the public.
Part of our efforts is to ensure that all the stations throughout Grenada is alerted, and they are to on the lookout and persons on standby just in case information reaching any police station. Okay, you can call any police station, nearest one, that he might be sighted somewhere, that we can move on any moment's notice. We really don't want him to be out there and then committing other crimes. Yeah, and people are feeling unsafe. Our duty, as you know, is to ensure public safety, and we will do what it takes according to the law to ensure that the public remain safe.
He says since Phillip keeps moving from one point to the next, it is important that the public is aware of what he looks like. He adds that communities must complement the efforts of the police to fight crime.
Now, when criminals realize that a community stands up, they tend to shift the operations to somewhere they think is weaker. But if that person, that community builds up as well, then you see, so that now, and they know. So it limits the width or the extent to which crime will be and can be committed. And that's why it is dangerous to just look at the police only to keep the country safe and to do all the work. In fact, we still depend on the public. We are not there when things are happening. And if the public don't assist, we will just come to a halt. We still depend on the public.
Anyone with information on escaped prisoner Hayden Phillip is urged to call 440-3999 or Police Emergency 911 or the Criminal Investigation Department CID at 440-3921 or Her Majesty's Prison at 440-7038. This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
We are back with you to continue the work. We need you to improve our Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique on the road to national sustainable development. We're back.
So how can we invest more in the sporting arena to bridge that gap for a lot of young people?
I think there should be more forums like this.
We need to find a way in which to combat that now.
Be a part of the next National Sustainable Development Plan 2035 Contributors Forum at the MacDonald College St. Patrick, January 21st from 7 p.m.
Welcome back. The government of China continues to invest in Grenada's educational development. On Tuesday, more than 70 Lenovo computers worth EC $210,000 were handed over to 8 secondary schools during a presentation ceremony at the Anglican High School in St. George. We'll get more details from Annette Moore.
I'm so delighted that we can provide some computers to improve the school's infrastructure of Grenada, to continue our strong support to the education course in Grenada.
To date, Mr. Yang Shijian noted that 1,884 Grenadians, 1.7% of the total population of Grenada, have been awarded scholarships and training program opportunities by the People's Republic of China.
Up to now, China has provided more than $66 million to help develop Grenada education.
These computers would greatly assist in furthering the ministry's ICT in Education initiative. For this, we are deeply appreciative of this generous contribution of the government and people of the People's Republic of China.
The computers were presented to schools in the various parishes. Schools receiving computers were the Anglican High School in St. George, the Grenada Christian Academy in St. Andrew, the St. Mark's Secondary School, the St. John's Christian Secondary School, the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive School in St. Patrick, Bishop's College and Hillsborough Secondary Schools in Carriacou, and the Westerhall Secondary School in St. David.
As we transition to using learning management systems, education management information systems, open education resources, and e-testing platforms, schools need adequate technological tools. And as such, this morning's handover is a particularly welcoming one for us.
Honorable Peter David, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Labour, urged recipients to care for the computers and further thanked the People's Republic of China for their continued cooperation and assistance.
I want to say to the students, show appreciation for the equipment and to use the equipment to ensure your own development. To express to you, Minister Councillor Yang, and to the People's Republic of China our deepest appreciation, not only for these computers, but for all that is being done with the people of Grenada in your cooperation with us for mutual development.
This is another important action by the Chinese government and people to render selfless assistance to Grenada.
The 5 ministers of government present at the function included the Honourable Pamela Moses, Honourable Kate Lewis, and Honourable Alvin Dabrio. For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell is of the view that the archaic structure of the West Indies Cricket Board is hampering player performance and the overall development of the sport in the region. Dr. Mitchell shared the view Tuesday evening, appearing as guest on the radio talk show Mason and Guest, hosted by international cricket commentator Andrew Mason of Barbados. On the program, which is aired live on Real FM locally, Dr. Mitchell said most cricketing nations have changed the structure and operation of their boards, but the West Indies is holding fast to an old structure. Dr. Mitchell, an avid cricket fan who still plays the sport, said it is hard watching the demise and level of performance of West Indies cricket. It is humiliating to any Caribbean person. He also cited a need for a change in the leadership of the board. Responding to a question about the most recent dispute concerning the appointment of an interim coach, Dr. Mitchell said the attitude and arrogance displayed by some members of the board are detrimental to the sport. And finally, revenue generation from the tourism sector continues to climb as the Grenada Tourism Authority improves its destination tour packages. That's according to the Nautical Development Manager, Nicoyan Roberts. In the last quarter of 2018, the Grenada Tourism Authority completed 3 major training programs geared at improving customer service and experience. Close to 60 frontline personnel were trained in introductory Spanish, French, German, and Italian. They learned basic greetings and other important phrases to assist in a smoother interaction with visitors who do not speak English. Roberts says because of this investment in the personnel and the marketing strategy, Grenada can enjoy increased revenues from the sector.
These cruise visitors, each one spends a little over $52 per day when they come into Grenada. Because we have done so much training in our craft sector, because we have worked and trained our tour operators, we see that these opportunities to increase the spend of the visiting cruise passenger are coming more and more to fruition.
She is hopeful that more tours can be contracted as the island continues to welcome visitors to its shore.
Our tour portfolio has increased. We have on offer close to 100 tours. Now the cruise lines, when we go out to negotiate business with them, they don't purchase all of the packages. However, we have seen, for example, from Princess Cruises, when they come into Grenada, their percentage of persons on tour is up to 25%. Our goal with Grenadian tourism businesses is to raise this percentage to 50%. We want to keep promoting Pure Grenada, the spice of the Caribbean, so when the passengers come and they book a cruise, they want to go to Grenada, and when they get to Grenada, they want to book a tour that will take them outside of the town of St. George's into the surrounding countryside so they can experience our waterfalls, our attractions, our agritourism estates, our spice plantations, our rum distilleries, our nutmeg processing plant, and every other unique treasure that Pure Grenada has to offer them.
The Grenada Tourism Authority reports that in 2018, 7 new tours were developed following a cruise guest experience consultancy. That story just ended the national report for today, Wednesday, January 16th, 2019. Let's recap the top story. Government provides clarity on public officers eligible for salary increase. On behalf of all those who made this newscast possible, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
My name is Jean-Louis Brocardi, and I'm the Culinary Director at Silver Sands, which means I'm in charge of developing all food and beverage concepts for the hotel. We've developed a relationship with a farming society. It's called Grenrop, and the head of Grenrop is Teresa Marichal. So as of this point today, we have about 35 farmers on board with our project, because my assessment when I came here 7 months ago is that there is definitely a problem here with this continuous supply of vegetable. It's not about the quality, but about the continuous supply. So rather than invest and spend money in transiting vegetables and fruits from Europe or from the United States, we decided to invest with local farmers in order to better the production and try to introduce new varieties of fruits and vegetables that would be suitable for our usage. So what we do is that through Teresa and Grenrop, we have brought in new grains. We've developed a nursery up in the Sauteurs area where we actually grow our seedlings, and then after that, we identify a farmer for a crop. So once we identify the farmers for the crop, we deliver the seedlings, and according to the needs that we're gonna have in different periods. So now we're good. We've actually had our first tomatoes, which are amazing. We're developing different kinds of zucchinis. We're developing different kinds of melons and watermelons, seedless watermelons. So the farmers over the past 5 months have gained confidence and a capacity and a capability to support them. Next to that, we are also talking about the farmers are teaching them how to do value-added products, which means, and rather than have wastage on the products they don't sell, teach them how to transform their products to limit importation of other goods and create another source of revenue or income from them. For example, the overusage, the tomatoes that they don't use, transform it into tomato puree or tomato paste. The mangoes they don't use, do mango purees, mango jelly, mango juices, sun-dried tomatoes. So those are all things.
It's rather super. Yes, that we're not promoting brother. I must say too, it's under pressure. We radio station made contributor. 99% of the things them ballad showing on TV. I am positive, my friend, it come from foreign country. No jamu, no specky. In the background, do they have me? When we could stop the young and restless, then we independent. And through Black Wizard and all the rest. Then we independent. When we local, we could digest. Then we
yes, indeed.
Stop eating all the foreign mess. Then we independent. Ahoy, ahoy,
ahoy, ahoy. Yeah, the late African teller.
When we could stop all them damn Indian. Then we independent. From shipping me money to the island. Then we independent. When we could take care of we woman. Then we independent.
Yes, indeed, it is Hard Talk. Once again, we're live on 97.5 City Sound FM, 89.5 CRFM Community Radio on your frequency modulated, 92.9 Sister Isle FM out there in Carriacou, and in the big broad Brooklyn on WeiVybz Radio, Noise Radio Family, 94.9 FM.
And we health system get first class as well. Then we independent. Ahoy, ahoy.
Saying a blessed good morning, especially to all of you on the live. Jillian, Hannah, Linda, Joseph, good morning. Gustin, good morning to you as well. Doc, morning, sir. Hope you're having a wonderful morning this morning. Hannah, as usual, we know that you're locked in. Yes, Sonia, oh, not the temperature update. Jenny, good morning to you. No, not that Jenny earlier, not that Jenny. All right. Good morning to you, Jenny. I hope that you're having a wonderful morning this morning. Hope Nikki is okay and everyone is okay. Eh? Nice, beautiful. It's a wonderful morning on the Isle of Spice this morning. Saying a special good morning to those of you out there in Petit Martinique. Hope that you are having a fabulous morning this morning. Yeah, my good friends and relatives out there. Yeah, a group of people last time they go up there, they search top to bottom in Petit Martinique. They're trying to find out who are my relatives in Petit Martinique.
Things I want to bring to you.
Yes, I have blood relatives. Not nobody married into the family. Blood relatives out there in Petit Martinique, yes? We have the same set of DNA.
Hence the reason why we have to step.
Go and search again.
Grenada's future depend on us. No quarrel, no confusion. We building the nation today. A new day is dawning. This is what I say. Wipe away all your sorrow. Remember there is always hope for tomorrow. All of your sins will be wiped away. Put away your grievances and open your heart to receive. Rootsman Kelly say hope and pray. Always try to be optimistic. At the same time don't be book it say whether or not this is a new day. Hey, hey. Blessed is that new day, that new day. Another thing that I want to mention, never let religion tear us apart. Always try to avoid religious tension. Tolerance and love must come from your heart.
Yes, indeed. We opened the phone lines early today, 4407377 and 347-329-3101. But some people get so quiet, man. Yeah, I didn't think I'd talk and see what I said yesterday. Well, you must say it today again. I'll say it today again.
No quarrel, no confusion. We building the nation today. A new day is dawning. This is what I say.
Let me say a glorious Grenadian good morning to each and every one of you.
It's always hope for tomorrow. All of your sins will be wiped away. Put away your differences and open your heart to receive. Rootsman Kelly say hope and pray. Always try to be optimistic, but at the same time don't be hypocrite. Say whether or not this is a new day. Looking forward to that new day when Grenada will be so nice, so nice. As we go through this new millennium, work hard to make our future bright.
Now, some are going overboard with this 10-year challenge now, man. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Well, wait, Neil, that's not a 10-year challenge, man. That's a 30-year challenge.
Our generation.
Yeah, actually, this 30, yeah. Around 30, yeah, about that.
Provide them with more opportunity.
Let me say a very special good morning to each and every one of you with Royal Grenada Police Force.
Yeah.
No, they had their press conference yesterday in relation to the escaped prisoner.
In that new day, no worry, no confusion. We building Grenada today.
Now, several people have been saying they sight him in the south of the island, and so let me explain something to you all. Common sense is not that common sometimes. Eh? If you see the individual, or you believe you have seen the individual, phone the police. You could call 911, they will take the information and pass it on to the relevant people, but call the police, yeah? You may not know the phone number if you know the phone number of the police station in your area, because you believe he's in your area, you call the police station or you call 911 and give them the information. They will pass it on to the relevant people. Yeah? But me want nobody calling me and tell me to see him here and there, you know? Because as far as I'm concerned, that's stupidness. If you see him, I ain't the police, call the police and tell them. Because when you call me and you tell me and then he's listening on the radio, the people who may be assisting him are listening to radio, they say, boy, somebody see you here, you have to go to another area. So in other words, you're helping him to stay outside. Let me be sensible with things. Yeah? So don't call me and say, I see him here, I think I see him there, and that kind of thing. Be sensible. Call the police. And I agree with the Royal Grenada Police Force 6,000,000%. Anyone that is involved in helping him to stay outside, and I'm speaking about the people who might make that mistake and call, they ain't really think it through, and they call a station and they say, well, look, the man, we see him here or we see him there. No, call the police and tell them that. But I ain't talking about them. But the people that may be providing food and other things to help him stay outside there and endangering the rest of the general public by so doing, Yeah, drag them to the courts too if they had to spend 10 years up there with him. Maybe they like being together with him, so they could be together with him up in prison. Give them the 10 years up there. Full voltage, no 5, no 6, no 7. Give them 10. In fact, he might come out and leave them up there. Yeah? Because that sort of nonsense has to stop. It has to stop. Yeah, sometimes we must think before we do things, man. I don't think a lot of times people just do things and they say things and they really think it through. Calling a radio program to say what? Call the police. That's what you have to call.
Stay focused. Grenada's future depend on us to bring on a new day. No worry, no confusion.
You're getting a piece of history here from Deep Pro.
A new day is done
in 1977, the St. George Medical School opened its doors on this day. Another achievement of Sir Eric Matthew Gary.
Put away your grievances and open your heart to receive. Rootsman Kelly say hope and pray. Always try to be optimistic. At the same time don't be book say whether or not this is a new day. Hey, hey. Blessed is that new day, that new day.
Yeah, I was just making sure I have my calculations correct. So that's 42 years ago. St. George University would have opened their doors.
Always try to avoid religious
amidst much protests, etc., etc., etc.
Must come from your heart.
People saying that they want no medical school here. They're going to be bringing cadavers with all kind of disease.
There and violence every day. Don't ever believe that you are inferior. We all have an important part to play. To bring on a new day. No quarrel, no confusion. We building the nation today. A new day is dawning. This is what I say.
Yeah, the St. George University contributes to about 20% of the GDP of Grenada. Eh?
All of your sins will be wiped
yeah,
out.
just the SGU. That's from the spend of the students and this faculty that are there and the various goods and services that they require.
Always try to be optimistic, but
they take up 20% of the GDP of Grenada. Just the St. George University School of Medicine and Arts and so on.
Looking forward to that new day when Grenada would be so nice, so nice. As we go,
I was listening this morning, boy. Grimes, oi. Brian. Gabriel blows did this morning, boy. Woo.
Country at ransom.
Papoy.
Expel the darkness and shine the light. Our generation live here forever.
Yeah, Sonia, I feel sorry for you on your -7 degrees. Yeah. Oh, sorry, -11. Okay. You're mixing up your 7-11? So it's -11 degrees in your neck of the woods. Probably about 34, 36, somewhere around there here. Folks, remember to conserve water. Already the Les Avocats Dam, they have found that it is been reduced by, I think it's 20 or 30%.
There's always hope for tomorrow when all of your sins will be wiped away. Put away your grievances and open your heart to receive. Rootsman Kelly say hope and pray. Always try to be up.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's a new day. Yeah, so, folks, we have to be careful with our usage of water at this time. It is two things are projected. It's projected that Grenada is going to have an extended and extreme dry season. Extreme dry season. In other words, we won't have much rainfall, which is going to directly affect the water supply throughout the island. It is going to affect the water supply throughout the island. Yeah? So no matter where you are, you have to conserve water. So already they're seeing imagine just the first few weeks of the dry season, and already you're seeing a significant drop in the amount of water in the reservoirs. And NOWASA has started instituting, well, not load shedding. How do you call NOWASA call it again? Well, you know, if it's the other side, it's called load sharing. But they reduce the amount of water that they're giving. They're turning off the valves for particular areas for specific amounts of time. Regulation. So we have to be careful with our water usage. And it may be wise to increase your storage at home. It may be wise to increase your storage at home. Don't go rushing in a month's time when the water resources are under 50% to decide at that point in time is when you're going to get the water tank. Check my partner down on the spot. Tell him I send he will get a percentage off for the tough tank and the water tanks. Or go to my good friends at Hubbard's. I'm sure that they have water tanks down there that would tickle your fancy. Go and check them. I'm not sure if Bryden and Miners. I'm not sure if Ace have water tanks. Ace, will you have water tanks? Ace, let me know. My friends at Ace Hardware, let me know if all you have water tank too. I have a partner going up in Hope. His name go come to me just now, man. M&N Hardware. I feel he have water tank there too, you know. Yes, a nice Mahon. Mahon is a nice guy. You could check Mahon too, you know. And Ramdani. Check them too. Right? But the bottom line is to get a water tank. It may be wise to get some water storage, proper water storage at this point in time. It may be wise to do that because already there have been significant drops in the reservoirs around the island, but they've spoken about Les Avocats because there's been a serious significant drop there. And it has meant that they have to regulate water supplies to different areas due to that. So please, folks, the washing down of the vehicles, you can't do it every day now. The water in the lawn and thing is grass. You go grow back when you get some rain. So we had to ease up on the use of the water and them kind of thing. Nice? Beautiful? Nice. And anybody sending down any, what is it? They posted it? Please do not store drinking water in the blue barrels, not chemically friendly. Well, I didn't even know that. So I learned something today. The blue barrel that has come down with all this stuff from the States and so on. I see my partner saying don't store water in them thing. They're not chemically friendly for that. Nice?
No quarrel, no confusion. We building the nation today. A new day is dawning. This is what I say. Wipe away all your sorrow. Remember there is always hope for tomorrow.
Well, that's true, Joseph. Those people that criticize Eric Matthew Gary fought tooth and nail against him bringing the university here. Some of them, their children and their grandchildren have degrees from that very said university right now. Or they have grandchildren that are attending that university right now. Diego, good morning to you, bro. Doc.
Blessed is that new day, that new day.
I'd like to congratulate my good friend Brian Grimes and the Public Workers Union for finally, standing up and saying that what government did was a good thing and saying thanks. I'd like to congratulate him and the Public Workers Union because he's the PRO of the Public Workers Union and therefore he represents the views of the Public Workers Union. So I'd like to thank you, Brian, and congratulate you and the Public Workers Union for standing up and saying thank you. I ain't hear nothing from LL yet, eh?
Don't ever believe that you are inferior.
Tau, I ain't all yet either. I ain't expect to hear from police and prisons and the nurses and them. I ain't expect to hear from them. They don't put out releases on things like that.
This is what I say.
Because they don't put out releases attacking government either. I'm saying that if you have enough mouth to come and call the government wicked and attack the government and say all sorts of negative and nasty things about the government, you should also have the common decency and courtesy. You see, some people don't understand what common decency and courtesy is, eh? Common decency and courtesy. That when the government does something that they don't necessarily have to do, it's a cabinet decision. Yeah, government makes a cabinet decision and decides that we're going to pay early so that those people, be they Imani trainees or people within the Project Strong or whatever, the people who are within those youth programs or the individuals who are working with government full-time in whatever position, that they will receive their salaries early and be able to handle the business early. Yeah? So if you are a decent person, you do what the Public Workers Union did in this instance, and they said thanks. Yeah? Nice. Yeah. Decent people understand that, innit? Yeah, indecent people ain't going to understand that.
No quarrel, no confusion. We building the nation today. A new day is dawning. This is what I say. A new day. Wipe away all your sorrow. Remember there is always hope for tomorrow. All of your sins will be wiped away. A new day. Put away your grievances and open your heart to receive. Woodsman Kelly say hope and pray. Always.
Once again, 440-7377. And for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101. We have a nation to build. Let's get together and get the job done. Got to move this place forward, huh? We say forward ever.
Another thing that I want to mention.
Strange, Grenadians are in perpetual motion, and because from forward ever we've got to let's keep moving, huh?
Always try to avoid religious.
We're a nation in perpetual motion.
Tolerance and love must come from your heart.
Forward ever, let's keep moving.
Like Syria, with sectarian violence every day. Don't ever believe that you are inferior. We all have an important part to play to bring on a new day. No quarrel, no confusion.
Depot, I wouldn't know where Clancy Island was located. I have the feeling it is where Port Louis now is, but I ain't too sure. You understand? Nice. Because you know I ain't that old. Me and Grimes is about same age. So they're calling him young man. So I laughing. Me and him I was in school together, same class.
Woodsman Kelly say hope.
I'll shave off the grey beard.
But at the same time, don't be hypocrite. Say whether or not this is a new day.
Poor Grimes, though. LL, I'm still waiting to hear you, Lyndon Lewis, President General of the Teachers Union. And here you're congratulating government for the early payment of salaries, man. What kind of thing is that? Huh? Why you didn't tell people about the fact that watch.
As we go through this,
I think a lot of them upset because they didn't want people to know what I said yesterday. I think a lot of them upset. Yeah, they didn't want people to know that. Good morning.
Hello?
Hi, good morning.
I'm trying to get onto the radio station, please.
You're live on the program right now. You're live. You're live.
That's a question I wanted to ask.
You're live. Go right ahead.
Pardon me?
You're live. Listen to us on the phone line. Go right ahead.
Okay. I couldn't get through yesterday morning. I was trying to get through on the program he was going on with.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like to know is if retirees, public workers, I worked in the Ministry of Education.
Mm-hmm.
And I was retired in 2010. What I want to know is if those retirees are entitled to whatever the government want to give.
Okay. All right, I'll answer you off the air.
Thank you very much.
No problem. You are entitled if you are holder of a letter from the Public Service Commission appointing you to the position that you had. And secondly, if you have spent 26 3/4 years in the public service. That is the qualifying criteria. So 1, you must be holding a letter of appointment from the Public Service Commission, not a letter from Cabinet, not a letter from some other department. Where some people get mixed up with this thing is simply this. Some people may have spent, let's say, 14 years in the public service. well, let's say they spent 30 years in the public service, 30. But out of that 30 years, the first 12 years or the first 10 years, they spent the first 10 years or the first 12 years in the public service without a letter from the Public Service Commission. They may have been received something, appointment through cabinet or so on, but they were not appointed by, according to where you're working, the Judicial and Legal Services Committee, who appoints judges and magistrates. You were not appointed by the Commissioner of Police, so you didn't go and swear on the Bible in front of the Commissioner of Police and he give you a letter of appointment. As of this day, you are officer, so and so and so, or whatever. You don't have a letter of appointment from the Commissioner of Police, the Judicial and Legal Services Committee, or the Public Service Commission. If you do not have a letter from any of those, and you have not spent 26 3/4 years after getting that letter, so you must have, one, the letter, and secondly, that letter must be at least 26 3/4 years. Yeah? So you have to spend, after you get that letter, you must then spend 26 3/4 years in the public service to qualify for a pension. And once that is sorted out, we'll find out the level, a gratuity. Okay? So let's go over it again. You may have worked in the Ministry of Education. There is the established staff and the unestablished staff within the Ministry of Education. As it is at this time, negotiations that the unions pushed through were only in phase 1 for the established staff. The established staff are those people who have a letter of appointment, 1, from the Commissioner of Police. So that's if you're working in the police service, you're sworn in by the Commissioner of Police and you have your letter of appointment from the Commissioner of Police. Right? That's 1. Secondly, from the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, judges, magistrates, those sort of people who are chosen and selected through a process of the Judicial and Legal Services Committee. They're given a letter of appointment from them. We appoint so-and-so as a magistrate as of this day, or we appoint so-and-so as a judge from this day, or whatever it is. Once that person, after they are appointed, spends 26 3/4 years in the service, they are eligible for a pension and gratuity. In the case of the majority of others in the public service, those working Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Social Services and Housing, Agriculture, yeah, very important ministry, Ministry of Agriculture, Prime Minister's Ministry, whichever ministry you serve in, if you receive a letter from the Public Service Commission appointing you on a particular day, and after receiving that letter you have spent 26 3/4, then you qualify, 26 3/4 years, then you qualify for a pension. That is the reason I've been saying that there are some people that are jumping up in the bandwagon right now who, 1, do not understand that the issue at hand is not an immediate payment for people like them, because they're saying, we want money now. But some of them, I know for a fact, have only been appointed by the Public Service Commission last year, as in 2018, and I know of a couple that I saw in the front line jumping up with Brazilian weave, waving in the breeze, bouncing like jello, placard in hand, we want money now. And they were only appointed as teachers through the Public Service Commission in 2017. So these people have to wait until the years 2042, if they spend the full amount of time, 2042, 2043, 2044, and the year 2045, not 2020, yeah? Not the 2020s, not the 2030s, but they will not be eligible to receive a pension and gratuity until the year 2042, 2043, 2044, 2045. While they may have been in the teaching profession in some instances for 5 and 6 years before, these individuals did not have a letter from the Public Service Commission. So it's only when you have that letter from the Public Service Commission. So again, my good friend, you called. If you have a letter, because you have to show that letter to the Pension Secretariat. So if you have a letter from the Public Service Commission and you worked with government for 26 3/4, so if you work for 30 years after you get that letter, surety, money's yours. Yeah? What the government said in its post-cabinet press briefing as well through the Honorable Oliver Joseph is that government will proceed with the payment of the pensions. But a lot of work has to be done before that can take place too. It's not a simple thing as government say, okay, we're going to start to pay it, and you start to pay it. Because different people worked for different salaries. And the pension payment is 70%, 70% of your last salary when you were working. So if your last salary was $10,000, then your pension will be $70,000. Not 70, sorry, $7,000. Right? So if your last salary was $10,000, your pension will be $7,000. If your last salary was $1,000, your pension will be $700. Now, that is not what it is right now. It's lower than that because you're receiving your pensions. Those who are in the public service receive their letter of appointment after the 22nd of February 1985. Those persons are simply receiving the NIS pension as it is right now. What is going to take place is that government will top that up. So if NIS is giving you, let's say, 45% or 55% of your last salary, government will come in and pay the difference to make it up to the 70%. I hope this explains it a lot for many of you out there. So if you are qualified, you have your letter and so on of appointment and so, I'm going to come back to the unestablished in a while. If you have your letter of appointment and so, then with that letter of appointment, you need to check the Pension Secretariat with that documentation and whatever other documentation you may have, whatever other letters and so you got. It may have even been a situation, as happens with all public servants, you might spend 5 years in one ministry, then you spend 2 years in the next one, and you spend 5 months in one, and you shifted to the next one for 1 month, then you go back to a ministry that you was in before, and you bounce around to different ministries. I've known people that probably go through nearly every ministry it have, including ministries that don't exist again. Yeah? In positions that don't exist again. So you need to bring those documentation into the Pension Secretariat. I believe they're on Lucas Street in the Carriacou building. That's like you're entering Mount Welldale. Like where they went to take out Bishop. Yeah, right on the corner of Lucas Street there. The junction, the Pension Secretariat, if I remember correctly, is located there. You get your documentation and you bring it into them so that the calculations can be made. Because it's not a standard payment as to say, well, everybody's going to receive $400. It varies from person to person. Somebody's final salary may have been $2,000. Another person's may have been $3,000. Another person may have been $5,000, may have been their final salary they worked for. So whatever your final salary is, the amount of money you're going to receive on a monthly basis is going to be 70% of that. A portion paid by the National Insurance Scheme and the other portion to bring it up to 70% paid by the government of Grenada. Well, you don't really care where the money coming from, whether it's NS or the government, isn't it? All you're caring is that you're getting 70%. Yeah, but government have to find the money to pay it too. So 70%. Right? The unions, yes, I do have the quote. The unions have already agreed to that. So government has stated that it is moving forward with that aspect. When the issue that is on the table, because even this morning I heard Mr. Grimes speaking and he still made the mistake. And I don't know if it's a willful mistake or if he for himself doesn't understand that pension is not the issue. There's no pension issue dispute right now. The dispute is in relation to gratuity payments, not pension payments. So government is proceeding to move forward with the putting in place the systems to pay those people, all of those people who qualify their pensions. Yeah? But government at the same time, and if you listen to Minister Joseph, at the same time stated that this is a bit unfair to those people in the unestablished category. Those people that do not have a letter. They may have spent as much as 30 years, but they do not have a letter from the Public Service Commission, the Judicial and Legal Services Committee, or from the Commissioner of Police. But they spent a significant amount of time in the service. So how do you treat with a person who spent 20 years unestablished and 10 years established and then retires? So that person has given in total 30 years of service to the people of Grenada, but only 10 years out of that count towards being able to obtain a pension, and therefore that person legally and according to the agreement, which says 26 3/4, that person cannot access a pension. Yeah? What do you do in a situation like that? Huh? Yes, so if you do not qualify in that instance, what can happen is that you can receive a special pension. Because I heard one individual call on a morning program and lambaste the present cabinet secretary, saying that this Miss Isaac woman, and saying all sorts of things about her, negative things about her. And that person seemed to not understand what I just explained, that they did not spend the amount of time that they had to spend in the public service in a established position with their letter of appointment to be able to access a pension. What was done is that you can apply to cabinet. If you don't have the amount of time, you can apply to cabinet, and cabinet can make a decision to give you what is called a special pension. They may say, okay, this person spent this amount of time, but they are not qualified. Under the agreement, they are not qualified, but we're going to give them a pension anyway. Yeah? When the unions negotiated, now, I heard Mr. Grimes saying it last night, and Mr. Grimes, bro, we's brethren. But what you say last night there in relation to the issue about giving the impression that the Public Workers Union did not know that when they negotiated the 3%, 3%, and 4%, that the unestablished workers are not getting it. It's only the established workers. Giving the impression, no, Brian, the 3% was paid in 2017. We're in 2019 now. The 3% was paid, the first 3% was paid in 2017. And when some people on the unestablished got the 3% payment, who made noise for it to be taken back? Wasn't the government make noise? But it was taken back from them. When the 3% was paid in 2018, unestablished workers did not receive it then either. But they're paying you all union dues to represent them. They're paying the Public Workers Union close to $800,000 a year to represent them. That's coming out of workers' salaries and going towards the Public Workers Union to represent them. But it still is like apartheid, because you have one side as the established and the next side as the unestablished. So while the established getting the increments and the increases and so on, the unestablished continue to pay union dues. So every year, every month, they're paying their union dues. $800,000 in union dues to the Public Workers Union, mind you. So they're paying their union dues, but yet still, every time negotiations take place, every time agreements are signed, only the established getting, and the others, the unestablished. Some of those young men and young ladies who are sitting at desks right now in the ministerial complex, Some of them who might be out right now with vector control. Some of the agricultural officers that might be listening to this program right now, heading out in the field to assist different farmers around the island. They are not benefiting from some of the arrangements being made by the union that they pay. And then maybe you want them jump up with placard and cuss the government. You're not representing them. If you're representing them properly, if you wanted to represent them properly, what you would have done would have been to include that category of workers in your negotiation. But here's what. The leadership of the union, how many of them are the unestablished? Ask yourself that. And you, the unestablished workers, who should be benefiting. And government is saying, listen, this category of workers, we need to deal with them too. Because you have some of them who have retired and are at home and all they're getting is a little NIS. And because they were not on the established staff, they're not getting the same benefits as the established workers. Because remember what I told you all yesterday? That's speaking to the established workers within the system. So that you see a person would have, they were working for $7,000 back in 2016. And now in 2019, as of Monday, that same individual would be working for $7,700. Or those in grade M. Because you have different grades of workers, categories of workers. If you get the budget document, you can purchase a budget document at the printery. You can get a copy of it. It's not the little book that they give out when the budget speech is when the budget speech is delivered. It's a much larger document, sometimes around 400 pages long. And it lists the different categories of workers there and the salaries attached to it. And if you look at the category of workers and you look at the year 2016 and then you come back and you look at the year 2019 with the 4% increase, these individuals over the last 3 years have gotten a 10% increase in their salaries. So the person who was working for $7,800 back in 2016 is now working for close to $9,000. Because they're working for over $8,580. So that individual is now working for close to $9,000. But they were working for $7,800 just 3 years ago in the year 2016. So that's why, no, they don't want you to know that there are people working for that kind of money. And notice, that is about $3,000 or so more than a government minister works for. Eh? Now, I'm telling you, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, that's about $3,000 more than a government minister works for. And when the public servants established, or even if the unestablished receive, but when they receive the increments and the increases, government ministers do not receive the same thing. They do not receive anything. So you have a situation where government ministers' salaries have been stagnant for many years. But the other thing they don't tell you is they're speaking about concessions and so on. Traveling officers receive a 50% concession on their vehicles. Yeah? Farmers are treated the same as parliamentarians. They get a 100% concession on a vehicle. So sometimes you have to wonder where some of these guys get their info from. No, Joseph, actually, if an individual does not qualify, but they made let's say they made the amount of time, they were appointed to the Public Service Commission, by the Public Service Commission. They did not make the full 26 3/4 because they had to retire before they made the full time. They can apply in writing through the Cabinet Secretary to Cabinet to give them a pension. And that's what you call like a special pension. I'm just calling it by that name. I'm not sure on the exact proper name for it. But that individual can apply to Cabinet Because suppose your letter of appointment comes when you are 40 years old. Right? That means that you're going to fall short by 6 years. Yeah? So you have to ensure that you have your letter of appointment and that you have spent the amount of time that needs to be spent in order for you to receive your pension and when it comes around the gratuity payments. For 45 years as an independent nation, it's now 13 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock. The phone lines remain open, 440-7377.
If your time allowed for contributions she has gotten from you, it is time that you take a bow.
You see, a lot of times you hear the negative and people want you to have that negative discussion with them. But they wouldn't speak about the fact that workers within the civil service of Grenada, we're speaking here about teachers, doctors, public officers, police officers, that this category of workers received $3.3 million worth of scholarships between 2016 and 2017. That's just 2 years we're speaking about there, 2016 and 2017. $3.3 million worth of scholarships.
Education advanced or basic, we all need some to move along. You know it doesn't come by magic, it's the teacher who lays it down.
And those scholarships were for people to get their bachelor's degrees and to get their master's degrees. Some of them did it here in Grenada. Some of them traveled overseas to do it.
From all over the world, and the policeman stays up.
And in all sorts of areas, education, medicine, agriculture, public policy, and so on. As I said, some people want you to have their discussion. They don't want to have your discussion.
Very safe and sound. Let's recognize his identity. A great asset to community.
And I'm saying it because I find it difficult to comprehend how a wicked group of people would do all of that for you.
And progress of a small country. So primary and secondary school teachers, Friday radicals and all our doctors, take a bow. Take a bow.
Yeah, government spent approximately $330,000 in salary payments to officers pursuing academic, advanced, and professional studies. That's for the year 2016 alone. We'll get the figures for 2017 and 2018 for you. Yeah? And that's officers in the health sector, social development, legal affairs, the police force, and so.
It's high time that you take a bow.
I want people to be careful because there may be that expectation by everybody that you're going to get. No, it's the established workers, and that's why I'm surprised that Grimes would have been saying that they are talking about the unestablished. You now notice it have unestablished workers because in the memorandum of understanding, there are phase 1 and phase 2. They did not put it into the context and say let's deal with everyone. They said, okay, we're going to deal with the established first. But remember, the union leadership, apart from, I'm pretty sure that they have their individual concessions. I'm not too sure about in the case of LL, but I'm pretty sure that Brian would be a traveling officer, most likely now, and qualify for a 50% concession on a brand new vehicle. Brian, if you didn't know, you know now. Yeah? And comrade sister Rachel Roberts, I'm kind of sure that you will qualify for a 50% concession on a vehicle. Yeah? So you're qualified for that, all right? So check and see. Nice? And tell people that your salary was that in 2016 and where your salary looking like Monday when you get your pay slip. Show people where your salary used to look like in 2016, January of 2016. Show them where your salary looked like in January of 2019. Yeah? And then go and tell people, look what the government do with the wicked. Go and tell them that afterwards, eh? Nice, Popo? You do that? Nice. Beautiful.
Take a bow. The Spice Island needs you. If your time allowed.
Oh, Papa, you're making it 4 months short. You have to retire 4 months short of that 26 and 3/4, right?
Take a bow. Take a bow.
Right, man. Right to them.
Take a bow. education, advanced or basic, we all need some to move along.
Trying to get the figure of how much this salary increase is going to end up costing government on a monthly basis. No, the 2017 was around 6.5 million. The 2018 was around 6.9 million. I'm interested in knowing how much this one is going to cost. We have a caller online. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great, man. How are you doing?
Not bad.
All right, sir.
I want to add to the other voices in congratulating the government on that bold step. One, in paying on time, workers on time, and two, keeping the promise to the workers in terms of the increments and so forth and so on that the workers is saying that they're entitled to, which they are entitled to. It was negotiated, and of course, they deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying to somebody yesterday, one of our Facebook posts, that is not a favor the government doing them, that they deserve it and it's theirs and so forth and so on. Could this person could they have said the same thing a few years ago when NDC was in office? When over 4.5 years, not one increase or increment was paid to public officers? Were they able to say anything back then? Understand what I'm saying? And I like what you said just now about the wicked. I heard this morning that Kem Jones, they kid wicked, he's a Satan, he's a this and that. And this wicked man was able to keep his promise. This wicked man was able to make sure that people know getting paid. I mean, and the government didn't have to do it. They'll say, well, let us wait till end of January, and we'll pay people. But they understand that the Christmas they paid early. The government paid early for, a matter of fact, some people get paid as early as the 15th, the 16th of December. And it's a government of conscience to say, look, let us ease the burden a little and pay a little earlier so people don't have to go through the entire month and so forth and so on. And understanding that February also is a very short month. You understand? So, if a wicked man could do all of that, right? I wonder how would you refer to people in Zimbabwe who was finance minister back then? You understand?
It would be very interesting to hear.
It'd be very interesting. I mean, we under this system, and let me tell you, Scott, I always say, nobody could fool me about this thing. Nobody could fool. I mean, I hear they come to and Grimes this morning, I just had to shake my head.
But the thing is, as soon as Grimes call in, they change them out, innit?
Yeah.
They start to change them out. I mean, Grimes, yes, I admire that he took our advice that we gave yesterday.
Yeah.
And decided that they should congratulate government for making that bold, a move that government didn't have to do.
Yeah.
But government, understanding the plight of the workers, decided to make that move.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how Grimes trying to get the impression that the union didn't realize that unestablished workers not getting the 4%. When it's 10% over 3 years, in 2017, the unestablished workers ain't get it. In 2018, the unestablished workers ain't get it. You negotiate with government still. In 2019, the unestablished workers still wouldn't get the 4%. And now, when the 4% is being paid is when you suddenly know that unestablished workers ain't get it. Who Grimes and them fooling with that?
Well, I mean, I believe that in you. You understand?
But not believe. You could be absolutely sure definitely, positively sure, go in a court of law that they knew.
That they knew. But their focus was on who paying union dues.
Yeah, but the thing is, the unestablished workers are paying union dues.
Some of them are paying union dues and not even getting representation. And that's a perfect example.
Unestablished workers are paying union dues.
And they're not represented. Nobody's seeking the.
I can speak from personal experience. I was on the unestablished staff, and union dues were removed from my salary back in 2008, 2009.
But in the Tuesday's press conference, it was Tuesday, right? Didn't the PS in finance mention that they would look into the unestablished? There is nothing said on because they're not represented. Some of them are not represented. But I believe she said there is a mechanism that could be used whereby they of course could get be considered as well for whatever increase public servants get.
Within the Constitution and the law, you're looking at the established when you have the pension discussion, but that does not stop you now from opening that avenue, as the PS would have mentioned and Honorable Oliver Joseph would have mentioned. That doesn't stop you from opening, because if you look at the memorandum of understanding between the unions and government, it speaks to two phases. Phase one is the established workers who even if I was doing this, I may have done it in reverse. And the reason is the established workers, they get increment, they get increase. They already guaranteed that they would receive a pension.
That's right.
But the unestablished workers, you have people that have left the service in dire need, and they would have been the first. I would have put them in phase one, and then put myself in phase two, but the leadership in phase one, because they're established. So when they say we want money, you know what they're talking about? We want money. Unestablished, that we ain't really, when we say we, they include all you.
No, that's exactly.
We money.
Exactly.
But unestablished are paying union dues.
Exactly. And they have the right to be represented.
Yeah.
But Scott, despite that, I think the government is moving, and you heard it a lot of people heard it, that the government is moving towards addressing that issue in terms of the unestablished workers. And I could tell you one thing: when in the previous NDC administration, remember, we had gratuity. Unestablished workers, some of them had gratuity because they understood that they have no tenure of service. In other words, they could be sent home tomorrow. The contract could not be renewed, and they go home with nothing. And when NDC came into office, I think that was under the previous NNP, there were 12.5% gratuity for contract workers. And when the NDC came to remove it, they said they can't afford it. And you didn't hear not a song from any union leaders. And that has to do with the unestablished workers, some of them who had contract and so forth and so on. And so it's happy to hear that the government talking about looking into unestablished workers and seeing how, because it's unfair. It's unfair for people who are working on contract for years, while established people who at the right time, a lot of them waste time and all, they go to more funeral than anything else. And when you see they say come out and demonstrate, some of them is the first to stand up in front and have placards, but the reality is a lot of them do nothing, and they could champion, they could quarrel for the monies, and while sometimes the unestablished workers are really pushing the mantle.
And I think that's part of the reason that the attempt by the PWU to call out the workers and to cripple the ministries late last year was by and large unsuccessful.
Very much so.
Because the unestablished workers, I saw some posts by some of the unestablished workers on social media. It's like, well, all you calling us to strike now, but when all you get all your money last year, which would have been 2017, when all you get all your money last year, all you make sure all you fix up all yourself, we didn't get.
Exactly.
You understand? So,
you're hungry and you see pot cooking, you smell the food, but you can't taste it.
Yeah, so I think it's unfair to the unestablished workers, and I know that my government, the new National Party government, is extremely interested in making sure and determined to ensure that those people who are on the unestablished, that they are treated fairly and can retire in comfort.
It will be done.
Yeah.
And I don't want to caution or give nobody advice, but to end here, Scott, we would have seen over the years people saying, kid wicked, and every time and time again, kid come and whip them. 15, this. I mean, you still do that stupidness on radio every morning, kid wicked, kid bad, kid corrupt, kid this and that. I mean, some people don't learn that. I didn't want to give advice and tell him stop. Let him continue. Because apparently what he's doing is ensuring that we win another 15 seats again. So, partner Cam, if you're listening, continue, my brother. Kid wicked, kid is Satan, kid is...
Oh, gosh. All right, my brother.
All right.
Yes. 440-7377. That's a 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of today's program. In fact, let me touch this one up there again, man. I kind of like that one, eh?
Some celebrating, some wicked politics who they playing, but only mad people will do such thing, cause the blind could see such an existing. So to all them politicians that claim they don't understand, independent don't have still remain a mental sham. I must let them know my independence manifesto. When we could manufacture cocoa, then we independent and stop import all the Milo. Then we independent. When we could stop the Kentucky flow, then we independent. And promote the local chicken some more, then we independent.
We've got a call online. Good morning.
Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir.
Pleasant morning to you, sir.
Morning, sir.
And now, as I listened to you early this morning, I want to steal some of your lyrics here. Now, I want to say a special 3G mornings to all my Grenadian brothers and sisters, both at home and in the diaspora. You know what's the 3G?
Goodness gracious, Grenada?
Well, no, you just said that it's a glorious, gracious Grenadian good morning, something like that. All right. Now, Mr. Scott, just like you, I was listening this morning. And, they want to kill Mr. Grimes this morning.
Poor Grimesy.
for acknowledging the gesture by the government to pay earlier than usual. Now, this effort only materialized as a result of the prudent management of the Grenadian economy. And the fact that we have a government that understands the historical hardship that is associated with the month of January. Now, the previous NDC government could not have done that. Why? They could not even find the money to pay salaries at the end of the month. So this government, this present NNP government, is not doing the workers a favor. It is just that we have a government that is listening. Now, Mr. Scott, the NDC could not find the monies to pay salaries on time, much less to pay early. Let's not forget, we must not forget that, the $18 million a month deficit. We must not forget selling of assets to pay salaries. And let's not forget what was done to CCC workers. We must not forget. Now, Mr. Scott, when I listen to what some union rep is saying about contract workers and unestablished workers, I'm getting a sense once again they did not know exactly what is signed up to. Are they just playing union politics with their workers? And last but not least, Mr. Scott, listen carefully because this one falls straight in your pot. Many persons are telling me that I'm being paid to say the things that I am saying about the government and the progress the country is making. Mr. Scott, if there is such a payroll, please, make sure my name appears on it. Mrs. Thomas, the Honorable Mrs. Delma Thomas, if you are aware of such a payroll, please make sure that my name appears on it. Gentlemen, Mr. Scott, I trust you will have a pleasant day, sir.
All right, thank you very much, bro.
You're welcome.
All right, and all I have to say in relation to that is this. One, it's not true. In no form or format are you being paid to say anything. You're an independent thinker, but you see, it shows the lack of understanding by those individuals. They believe that if you are employed by a particular agency, then you have no right to speak on an issue. I want them to show me in the Constitution which part say you don't have a right to talk. Or if you say you're aligned to the New National Party and you have announced that somehow you're paid to say this and you're paid to say that. But even if a person was paid and that individual is not paid, but even if a person was being paid to say something and it's true, how does that diminish the fact that it's true? You see, they have to throw in these red herrings and these nonsensical arguments because they don't have the intellectual capacity to deal with you. They cannot come on a program when you have spoken and be able to counteract what you have said with an independent, intellectual, and intelligent argument. As such, they have to dwell in nonsense. So you come and you say, the last administration, the NDC administration, did nonsense. And you state point 1, 2, 3, 4. And you say the New National Party is doing much better. And you state point 1, 2, 3, 4. Then comes one of these idiots and they come up and they say, instead of being able to say, well, no, we don't agree with you, and we'd like to have a conversation with you on point 2, what you said about the New National Party, and point 4, what you said about the NDC. And so instead of coming and have that discussion, the first thing they jump up and say, oh, you're paid to say that. That doesn't matter. What matters is, what did I say? Is it true or not? That's the whole discussion. But you know the empty vessels when they're ready to talk, brother. Because they could only talk in nonsense. They speak a language called nonsense. That's the language that they know, that's the language that they speak. That whole language is known as nonsense. Yeah? So when you're having an intellectual discussion and you're making your points, they cannot counteract those points. They refuse to agree with those points because they know that what you're saying is correct, by and large, and they refuse to agree with you simply because agreeing with you would confirm that what they are involved in and the organization they are involved in and the nonsense they are saying cannot make it. So they have to bring the entire discussion into the realm of who being paid and who not being paid. Dunce's argument that you has ever hear is only dunce that speak them language. They don't listen to them. From the time one of them dunce come to you and they start, yes, I say dunce, vex. By the time any of those dunce come to you and they start to talk about who gain pay and who not gain pay, just ignore them because that person doesn't have the intellectual capacity to have a proper discussion with. Just go and find something else and do. Go and read a book. Go and do something else. Yeah? Don't bother them. So it has nothing for me to put your name on because we do not pay individuals for that kind of thing. Yeah? And that's why they'll continue to wallow in non-existence. That's why they'll continue to wallow where they are. Because they cannot have a proper, intelligent, intellectual discussion. So that's why they'll continue to be in the position that they are. All right? 440-7377, that's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside. And 347-329-3101. Colette, yeah, girl. Dotichnis. That is where they specialize in. Dotichnis. Can't have a proper discussion. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, man?
I'm great. Fabulous
yes,
today.
I'm still worried about that $600 million Nazim Boxer you have, but not leaving for Peter Spain. I'm still worried about it. I want to know about it.
The man says that he was misinterpreted and misunderstood. That's what he said. He was misinterpreted and misunderstood. So, I mean...
okay.
But he take a low profile, no man. We doesn't see him. So, all right, no brother. Strange enough, though, last week on the To The Point program, the present leader of the NDC gave a sort of indication that you cannot fully write off Mr. Burke from leadership of the National Democratic Congress in the future. Yeah? So you can't totally write him off from leadership of the NDC in the future. That he's still a member and blah, 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 blah. So you can't write him off from leadership of the organization in the future. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, man.
And stop import all the Milo. Then we independent. When we could stop the Kentucky flow. Then we independent. And promote the local chicken some more. Then we independent. Ahoy. 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 Ahoy.
Jen, good morning. Say good morning to all the members of Parliament. Know many of you have your constituency day today. Yeah, you're out to the constituency offices and so interacting with the general public. Also going around to see different issues in your community and how you'll address them.
And we treasury to it always empty.
Yeah, most of the MPs, they have their constituency days either on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Some even have it on a Fridays as well, huh?
My friends, please don't vex with me. For dignifying true quality. When we could make we own flour. Then we independent.
Diane, good morning, girl.
Sugar. Then we independent.
Some people see me yesterday, they say, wait now, man. You ain't telling me about it. They say, you mean that people working in the public service for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 and going up to $9,000, yeah? Yeah, we're not speaking about contract workers there. We're speaking about people that are permanent in the system. Yeah, it's actually a grade M, so those persons are earning $7,800. Well, we're earning $7,800. Those people should be earning closer to $9,000 by now.
We radio station made contributor.
A lot of people don't even realize that permanent secretaries carry diplomatic passports. Yeah.
Come from foreign country, no jamu, no specky. In the background, do they have me? When we could.
Oops, I should not say that. Okay, sorry.
Then we independent. And through Black Wizard and all the rest.
So I should not say as well that the traveling officers get 50% concession on new vehicles under 5 years. I shouldn't say that.
Stop eating all the foreign mess. Then we independent. Ahoy. Ahoy.
No, I mean, I hear people talking about who get concession and who gain concession and who does get concession and all kind of things. So, I mean, let's hear some confession about the concession, eh? LL, I find I don't hear any. Let me check LL Facebook page. Let me see if LL put up a little video. I know during the heat of the thing, LL was putting up video and all kind of thing, and he used to make little posts and all kind of thing. So, let me see if my good partner LL posts anything in relation. Oh, the computer moving slow, so I'm to you. Warm to your computer. Hey, you have to move faster than that. Yeah. Yeah, let me see. Let me see. SAS Ministry Education. Yeah, man, that man there. Let me see. Last post I seen from the man is the 3rd of January. Well, somebody phone LL and tell him that teachers getting paid early. Let me see if he go say anything. Phone LL, Lloyd and Lois. Anybody have your phone number? Anybody have your WhatsApp? WhatsApp him. Phone him. Tell him teachers getting paid on Monday and we ain't hear from him yet. We just hear from him all kind of thing with government. We don't hear from him on this one. What happens? Only when it's negative you could go out and talk. Huh? LL, we ain't hear you on that. Come on, man. Yeah. The silence is deafening. What's the matter, bro? You want to speak on it, man? Yes, indeed, folks. 440-7377. We have roughly about 19 minutes remaining on today's program.
Never try to hold the country at ransom. Expel the darkness and shine the light. Our generation live here forever. Provide them with more opportunity. It's the only way.
I saw Devon yesterday.
Yeah.
Or he'll be back soon.
See a nice place Grenada could be. In that new day, no worry, no confusion. We building Grenada today. A new day is done.
Mommy George, good morning to you, huh? And Pinky, the whole family. Hope everyone is going all well and okay.
But there is always hope for tomorrow when all of your sins will be.
Joel and all of them, yeah.
Put away your grievances.
Miss Noriega, good morning. Nenny, good morning to you. Kiame, down there on the bus terminal, good morning, my dear. Imagine a man so chubby man come and say that. In fact, let me don't repeat that. I ain't even repeating that stupidness here.
Well, if you don't listen.
No. Make it. I ain't repeating that stupidness here. And that entire thing too stupid to repeat here.
You know they like to say Grenadians have cost. Hence the reason why we have to stay focused. Grenada's future depend on us to bring on a new day. No quarrel, no confusion. We building the nation today. A new day is dawning. This is what I.
Hell, you're quiet, boy. Wham. Let me use the Trinidadian accent. Wham, boy.
Remember there is always.
When you get quiet, boy.
All of your sins will be wiped away. Put away your grievances.
Would have loved to hear what you had to say about the early payments, man. And come on, you're afraid to speak about the 4% increase that teachers would be getting as of Monday. You're afraid to speak about that? Don't be afraid to speak about. Some teachers ain't falling grade K there, some principals and so. The $6,300 back in 2016 are going to now be getting close to $7,000 or $7,000. Yeah, some of them principals, some. Yeah. Bam, you don't want to big up yourself. You wasn't one of the people negotiate for that 10% increase over 3 years, 4? Yeah. 3%, 3%, and 4%.
Always try to avoid religious tension. Tolerance and love must come from your heart. And though we would never become like Syria, with sectarian violence every day, don't ever believe that you are inferior.
So again, I'd like to congratulate Brian for congratulating the government, man. That shows some, cajones, that's what they call it, cajones. Yeah, man.
This is what I say.
Shows a bit of testicular fortitude, yeah?
Remember there is always hope for tomorrow. All of your sins will be wiped away.
By the same token, you don't act like the union just knowing that unestablished workers, because unestablished workers take out in all your tail. That is why you're talking about them right now.
Try to be optimistic, but at the same time.
But then you ain't unestablished, you establish, and Comrade Sister Rachel established, and Comrade Lydon Lewis established, and all the other members on the executive, all the established workers. So, yeah, man, it's only that benefiting when all negotiate, but the others who are unestablished, not on the executive, and they pay in union dues, the same as all they pay in union dues, they ain't getting a little kakara too. We just get a t-shirt and 2 drinks for Labor Day. I think they still had to pay for the t-shirt. Boss, they had to pay for the t-shirt, ain't it? They had to pay for the t-shirt, they ain't get any t-shirt free. The union ain't getting any t-shirt, they had to pay for the t-shirt, ain't it? Yeah.
Expel the darkness and shine the light.
After the union collect $800,000 on a yearly basis, yeah. Tell them stay home and all kind of thing, and then can't even pay out a strike fund to get them a look at something, even if it's a 500 each, and say, well, hold strain.
It's the only way to secure the future.
But strange, you all could find lawyers to go and fight the case. I wonder how the lawyers being paid out of the strike fund. Because it's a strike-related matter.
We building Grenada today. A new day is dawning. This is what I say.
If was a lawyer coming and tell all you, hey, all you have a case and shoot, I'm telling all of that. Because win or lose, I know how to get paid. So if as a lawyer coming and interview all you, telling all you, hey, all you have a case, boy. Bring a case. Don't worry, I go defend all you, man. I ain't go charge all you much.
Always try to be up.
I ain't go charge all you much, yeah? Yeah, just give me a little 40, 50 grand. That is all. I ain't go take much.
Remember there is always hope for tomorrow. All of your sins will be wiped away. Put away your grievances and open your heart to receive.
Yeah, government is very interested in dealing with the issue of the unestablished workers, the people who pay their union dues to provide services, some of them above and beyond what others are doing, and that they be treated fairly as well. Many of them have already retired out of the service. Basically with, some cheese straw and some, big bottle of Coca-Cola and them kind of thing. Yeah, that's what they graduated. They not graduate, but they've retired with, yeah. Can't continue to allow that. I personally know a lot of these people, and while some of them talking and all kind of thing, I'm speaking here as an individual who personally knows a lot of these people that have made significant contributions and ought to be treated fairly, but it cannot be done in the instance of one person. It has to be done across the board. And as such, that is why the union needs to take up their particular cause. The government is already showing a willingness to address that issue. So the government identifies it, says, this is a problem. We have to address it. We want the union realize finally too that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. Not just fluffing the nest of people who are the unestablished, but the established, sorry. But making sure that the people who are on the unestablished, that they get their due. So not just the people on the established, the people who are on the unestablished. Many of them, they're moving around right now and they're listening to this program. You know, the young people that just enter the service and all they have is a letter from cabinet. They know nothing from the Public Service Commission that say that you're appointed to this position, you're appointed to that grade within the public service, whatever. They have nothing saying that. They're still waiting. What do they do? Do they make up their mind that I'm going to dedicate the next 20 years of my life or the next 26 or 30 years of my life to public service when at the end of that time I have nothing to receive? Come on, we have to be serious with this thing, man. We have to seriously deal with that particular issue. And I know that the government is willing. They have stated so. Even before Mr. Grimes speak last night. Apparently he didn't listen to Minister Joseph and the Permanent Secretary on Tuesday because they raised the issue. Yeah, the unestablished is the elephant in the room. And there are many of you listening right now. I met a lady the last time. This lady probably worked in his service 30 plus years. And she was trying to find out how she could get a little something at the end of the month. Yeah, how she could get a proper pension at the end of the month. One of the problems that lady had was that she was not on the established staff. She was not on the established staff. So there has to be a mechanism of addressing these people. Yeah, they're talking about pension and pension and pension. Pension is not the issue right now. Pension is the issue for the unestablished, but not the established. That has already been agreed on. That's why government is saying it's moving forward on that particular one. So to the caller earlier and others, once you have your letter of appointment from the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, the Public Service Commission, or the Commissioner of Police, you've spent 26 3/4. There's another case here that you have to look at. If an individual has spent 26 3/4, but it's broken, like you have broken service, you can apply to cabinet to join your service. Like I know of one individual who was teaching in the 1970s, left Grenada for a period of time, came back in the 1980s. So they were teaching. They had their letter of appointment from the Public Service Commission. They were appointed as a teacher in the 1970s. Left Grenada, so they broke their service. They no longer were working with the government of Grenada. They broke service. Came back in the 1980s and got their letter of appointment a little later. And then that person retired in the 2000s, somewhere in the early to mid 2000s, that person retired. And they had to apply to attempt to join their service because it's 26 3/4 consecutive years. Not necessarily in one department, it could be in any department, but once you have not left the service and then come back. So that individual had to apply now to cabinet to join their service, have their service enjoined. So the amount of years that they had before the 1980s, for during the period that they left and went to the United States or Canada or wherever, to have their service joined. Yeah? It's not that the cabinet doesn't have to do it, but cabinet usually does it. Yeah? Nice. 440-7377. 440-7377. That's the number to call and get on today's program. We have roughly about 9 minutes remaining.
Grenada is such a beautiful country, where come forth so much black makers of history. Man, I'm sure that many people will agree
say she's blessed by the Almighty. Oh God, the standard of skills and talents we have down there in this land, it is too much for me to mention. Yeah. The level of education keep rising to higher heights. And if I'm wrong, don't say that I'm right. No, I want to tell everybody I'm so proud of my country.
Yeah, I want to throw out a 10-year challenge. I want to see some people in the public service pay slips from 10 years ago.
Country in this world could do the things that my country would do.
So that'd be 2009, huh?
I love my
And that was in government then, boy. Yeah, all right. I want to see some people pay slip from then and see what the pay slip look like now. In fact, we'll even throw out a 3-year challenge. Show what your pay slip look like 3 years ago and what it look like now. Or 5-year challenge. Show what your pay slip look like then and what your pay slip look like now. As long as you remain in the same grade, because you may have moved from grade D to grade G, or you may have, if you're in the same grade, yeah, post your pay slip, like, see now. I bet you never see that one go viral. You ain't gonna see everybody posting now on, eh? Because they have to keep that concept going there in the minds of many people that something so bad and so wrong and the government so wicked and the government ain't doing this and the government ain't doing that for workers and treating workers unfairly and all kind of thing. And then when you go to certain departments, you have somebody sitting on a computer and playing games on the computer while you, the general public, stand up in front of them and asking for service, like you have to beg for service. And then when the strike comes, you see that same person going out, we working so hard, we want money. Or you check a particular person in a particular department, and we're not saying, I'm not going to paint with a broad brush here. You have majority of people within the ministries work extremely hard, and go above and beyond the call of duty. But you have some of them, they embarrass the rest of the public service. Because you go in a department to do a particular job, you go there, you interact with this person, and then 2, 3, 4 years down the road, you're still fighting up trying to get something done that could have been done in 1 week. And then you see the same person with a placard, government wicked, we working hard and we want money. Yeah? You seeing them. You, the general public, seeing them. The same individual that you know that you went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, getting all kind of bramble, all kind of stories. And then when the time comes and they start to strike now, then the first ones, they ain't even waiting for the strike to call. They're saying, let me strike now, I want to strike, let me strike. I see some of them begging to go and strike. Yeah? I hope from now on, have a strike fund, yeah? Yeah. There's a question here, how our government is so caring for the workers, yet you have persons in the public service for over 10 years and the government refusing to regularize them. It's not an issue of the government refusing to regularize persons. There are some persons who have not upgraded themselves, and that is why they cannot. For instance, I know of one individual who was a teacher. That individual was within the teaching profession for a period of time, and they could not have been appointed because they didn't have math and English. They did not have math and English. That is why the person could have not been confirmed. So while they would have been providing a service, and that's not a recent thing, that's thing from back in the 80s. And even recently, you have people who would be on the unestablished staff and would be there for many years because they're providing a service, they're doing a good job, etc. But qualification-wise, you cannot take them and put them on the established staff. So you may ask them, you may plead with them, hey, do some evening classes, get some subjects. Yeah? Upgrade yourselves, get a degree, and so on. You as government could only tell them that. But if they don't take the opportunity to go and upgrade themselves so that they can get onto the established staff, you can't blame the government for that. What will the government do? Send them home? So that instead of them being on the unestablished for 10 years, where they can have a salary coming inside, they could see about their family and so on for that 10 years, are you saying that the best thing for the government to do is to just tell them bye-bye? Because it's up to them to upgrade themselves to the position that they can get onto the established staff. I know I have friends, I have people that are close to me, 10, 13, 14 years in the service. The reason that they cannot go onto the established staff is because in all that time, when you check it out, they have not upgraded themselves. If they enter the service with 3 CXC, some of them looking to retire with 3 CXC. That's it. That's the main thing. Yeah? No. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. That in many instances, these people have not upgraded themselves. In fact, if you speak, you said you're a teacher, if you speak to the Teachers Union president, you'd realize that there were several people who are teachers, unestablished right now, in other words, those that are on contract, that there was all the intention of making these people permanent, because some of the parents who have children in the school right now were taught by these people. So all the intention of making these people permanent. So he asked the people to bring in the documentation and so on. And when they bring it in, the same thing that they had 10, 15 years ago is the same documentation that they have now. They have not upgraded themselves. So while you wanted to make these people permanent, they could not have been made permanent. I know of a case of that. In fact, let me not even say the parish, because it might sell out who the person is. But on the western side, I know an individual right now that is attempting to become permanent as a teacher. They've been there for a few years well. Should be going about 6 years now. A position is available. They would like to get the position, but they have one problem. They don't have math, and they're trying to get it. So they're in the process of trying to get it. And once they get that, then a case can be made to bring that person onto the permanent staff. So it's nothing new. Yeah, I'm just responding to a comment that I'm seeing on Facebook here. There are a lot of people, and that's not the case with everybody on the unestablished staff, but it's not the case with a lot of people on the unestablished staff. They have not upgraded themselves, particularly in the teaching profession. Yeah? That's the case with quite a few. And yes, Dion, higher qualifications does mean more money. But in reality, because that can help decide which grade within the public service you end up in. Once you're approved by the Public Service Commission, your qualifications can help you be graded. So whether you're going to grade G, or you're going to grade J, or you're going to grade K, so you're getting a $3,000 or $5,000 or $6,000, $7,000 on a monthly basis, yeah? Because it's one or the other, and it's either you're telling people go home, okay, we give you 1, 2, 3 times, you upgrade yourself, go home. So they spend 10 years at home or trying to find a job or that kind of thing. A current government would keep them in, and that's what has been done. So you can't come and cause the government now and say, well, 10 years these people on unestablished, why you don't put them onto the established staff? It's up to the people to upgrade themselves, to make the qualifying criteria to be graded properly. Yeah, because there are a lot of people that have come. You have some ministries, and if you look at the ministries right now, there are people who have been inside there at particular positions on the unestablished, and there are people that have come into the service afterwards with higher qualifications and have gotten through the Public Service Commission and now permanent employees, while these people remain on the unestablished. That's nothing to do with government. It has to do with the qualification of the individuals who are coming through the system. Yeah, so many people need to go and upgrade themselves, and that's simply what's happening. Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. It's been wonderful. Remember to rebroadcast tonight at 8 p.m. via 89.5 CRFM. And from 10 p.m. tonight via 94.9 out there in Brooklyn. My name is Sheldon Scott. I am heading out of here. And whatever you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. Yeah, so we'll take it out like this today, I feel.
Well, just break a branch. Or you meet up a tree. It don't matter. It's a tree mass. It's a different kind of mass. We play the tree.
Government provides clarity on public officers eligible for salary increase. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for today, Wednesday, January 16th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. Government is providing clarity on the categories of public officers who are eligible to receive the 4% salary increase, which goes into effect this month. The salary increase applies to established officers holding letters of appointment issued by the Public Service Commission, unestablished workers holding open-ended letters of appointment issued by the respective permanent secretaries, as well as daily paid workers. Persons holding fixed-term contracts are not eligible for the salary increase. It was announced this week that the 4% salary increase is the third and final portion of a 10% increase agreed to with trade unions representing the workers. Increases of 3% have already been paid to public officers for each of the 2 preceding years, 2017 and 2018. Government will spend more than $6 million on the salary increases alone. Those who continue to assist escaped prisoner Hayden Phillip to evade law enforcement, be warned, the Royal Grenada Police Force will be coming after you. That warning from Inspector Desmond Richard, officer in charge of the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. During a press conference on Wednesday, Inspector Richard said the force is investigating the reports that Phillip is being assisted by certain individuals who will face the full force of the law on completion of their investigations.
Let it be known that Hayden will be recaptured, and we're also going after those who we believe is assisting in his continued escape. The Royal Grenada Police Force is letting those persons know that they will be caught too, and they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So we want to advise persons out there. Hayden is a dangerous prisoner, and he must be approached with caution if it cannot be avoided.
Inspector Richard says they are pooling resources from every department of the force to ensure that all is done to recapture the prisoner and to ensure the safety of the public.
Part of our efforts is to ensure that all the stations throughout Grenada is alerted, and they are to on the lookout and persons on standby just in case information reaching any police station. Okay, you can call any police station, nearest one, that he might be sighted somewhere, that we can move on any moment's notice. We really don't want him to be out there and then committing other crimes. Yeah, and people are feeling unsafe. Our duty, as you know, is to ensure public safety, and we will do what it takes according to the law to ensure that the public remain safe.
He says since Phillip keeps moving from one point to the next, it is important that the public is aware of what he looks like. He adds that communities must complement the efforts of the police to fight crime.
Now, when criminals realize that a community stands up, they tend to shift the operations to somewhere they think is weaker. But if that person, that community builds up as well, then you see, so that now, and they know. So it limits the width or the extent to which crime will be and can be committed. And that's why it is dangerous to just look at the police only to keep the country safe and to do all the work. In fact, we still depend on the public. We are not there when things are happening. And if the public don't assist, we will just come to a halt. We still depend on the public.
Anyone with information on escaped prisoner Hayden Phillip is urged to call 440-3999 or Police Emergency 911 or the Criminal Investigation Department CID at 440-3921 or Her Majesty's Prison at 440-7038. This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
We are back with you to continue the work. We need you to improve all Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. On the road to national sustainable development. We're back.
So how can we invest more in the sporting arena to bridge that gap for a lot of young people?
I think there should be more forums like this
we need to find a way in which to combat that. Now,
be a part of the next National Sustainable Development Plan 2035 Contributors Forum at the MacDonald College, St. Patrick, January 21st from 7 p.m.
Welcome back. The government of China continues to invest in Grenada's educational development. On Tuesday, more than 70 Lenovo computers worth EC $210,000 were handed over to 8 secondary schools during a presentation ceremony at the Anglican High School in St. George. We'll get more details from Annette Moore.
I'm so delighted that we can provide some computers to improve the school's infrastructure of Grenada, to continue our strong support to the education course in Grenada.
To date, Mr. Yang Shizhen noted that 1,884 Grenadians, 1.7% of the total population of Grenada, have been awarded scholarships and training program opportunities by the People's Republic of China.
Up to now, China has provided more than $66 million to help develop Grenada education.
These computers would greatly assist in furthering the ministry's ICT in Education initiative. For this, we are deeply appreciative of this generous contribution of the government and people of the People's Republic of China.
The computers were presented to schools in the various parishes. Schools receiving computers were the Anglican High School in St. George, the Grenada Christian Academy in St. Andrew, the St. Mark's Secondary School, the St. John's Christian Secondary School, the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive School in St. Patrick, Bishop's College and Hillsborough Secondary Schools in Carriacou, and the Westerhall Secondary School in St. David.
As we transition to using learning management systems, education management information systems, open education resources, and e-testing platforms, schools need adequate technological tools. And as such, this morning's handover is a particularly welcoming one for us.
Honorable Peter David, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Labour, urged recipients to care for the computers and further thanked the People's Republic of China for their continued cooperation and assistance.
I want to say to the students, show appreciation for the equipment and to use the equipment to ensure your own development. To express to you, Minister Councillor Yang, and to the People's Republic of China our deepest appreciation, not only for these computers, but for all that is being done with the people of Grenada in your cooperation with us for mutual development.
This is another important action by the Chinese government and people to render selfless assistance to Grenada.
The 5 ministers of government present at the function included the Honourable Pamela Moses, Honourable Kate Lewis, and Honourable Alvin Dabrio. For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell is of the view that the archaic structure of the West Indies Cricket Board is hampering player performance and the overall development of the sport in the region. Dr. Mitchell shared the view Tuesday evening, appearing as guest on the radio talk show Mason and Guest, hosted by international cricket commentator Andrew Mason of Barbados. On the program, which is aired live on Real FM locally, Dr. Mitchell said most cricketing nations have changed the structure and operation of their boards, but the West Indies is holding fast to an old structure. Dr. Mitchell, an avid cricket fan who still plays the sport, said it is hard watching the demise and level of performance of West Indies cricket. It is humiliating to any Caribbean person. He also cited a need for a change in the leadership of the board. Responding to a question about the most recent dispute concerning the appointment of an interim coach, Dr. Mitchell said the attitude and arrogance displayed by some members of the board are detrimental to the sport. And finally, revenue generation from the tourism sector continues to climb as the Grenada Tourism Authority improves its destination tour packages. That's according to the Nautical Development Manager, Nicoyan Roberts. In the last quarter of 2018, the Grenada Tourism Authority completed 3 major training programs geared at improving customer service and experience. Close to 60 frontline personnel were trained in introductory Spanish, French, German, and Italian. They learned basic greetings and other important phrases to assist in a smoother interaction with visitors who do not speak English. Robert says because of this investment in the personnel and the marketing strategy, Grenada can enjoy increased revenues from the sector.
These cruise visitors, each one spends a little over $52 per day when they come into Grenada. Because we have done so much training in our craft sector, because we have worked and trained our tour operators, we see that these opportunities to increase the spend of the visiting cruise passenger are coming more and more to fruition.
She is hopeful that more tours can be contracted as the island continues to welcome visitors to its shore.
Our tour portfolio has increased. We have on offer close to 100 tours. Now the cruise lines, when we go out to negotiate business with them, they don't purchase all of the packages. However, we have seen, for example, from Princess Cruises, when they come into Grenada, their percentage of persons on tour is up to 25%. Our goal with Grenadian tourism businesses is to raise this percentage to 50%. We want to keep promoting Pure Grenada, the spice of the Caribbean, so when the passengers come and they book a cruise, they want to go to Grenada, and when they get to Grenada, they want to book a tour that will take them outside of the town of St. George's into the surrounding countryside so they can experience our waterfalls, our attractions, our agritourism estates, our spice plantations, our rum distilleries, our nutmeg processing plant, and every other unique treasure that Pure Grenada has to offer them.
The Grenada Tourism Authority reports that in 2018, 7 new tours were developed following a cruise guest experience consultancy. That story just ended the national report for today, Wednesday, January 16th, 2019. Let's recap the top story. Government provides clarity on public officers eligible for salary increase. On behalf of all those who made this newscast possible, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.